Welcome to Cerner Radiology Training video number 3. In this video, we'll focus on navigating Powerchart, documenting an immediate procedure note, and Autotext both in Cerner and in Dragon. So we're back at our RadNet screen. As you recall, we got here by opening this screen out of PACS. And now that we're here, we'll launch Powerchart to open the chart. As you notice, by utilizing RadNet, we go straight into the chart of interest. We don't have to search for it again. Now with Cerner, to look at the structure, in the corner here you should have the menu bar. It may be pinned when you first view it. The menu bar is just a way to access certain elements of Powerchart that have a lot more detail. But for this demonstration, I want to unpin this bar. I typically like to keep it hidden in the corner. Now looking at the radiologist workflow, this is called the M page. It's designed to mimic a web page in terms of its structure. Tabs, and you'll have 3 tabs here. One for the workflow, where you'll be doing most of your work if you are doing some charting. One for the imaging synopsis, and then one for the quick orders page, which we'll deal with that in another video. You'll also notice familiar icons such as the back, forward, and the home button. If you ever find yourself over here in the menu going to a different element here, let's say the medication list, and you're wanting to get back to the workflow, you simply click the home button and you're back. So here you have the navigation bar. The workflow is designed to do 2 things. Number 1, help you build the note, and 2, help you build the necessary information to make clinical decisions. And with my mouse here in the middle of the workflow, all I'm doing is scrolling with the mouse, the scroll wheel, and you'll see it naturally flows. The navigation pane will flow as I'm scrolling until I get to the bottom. And so you'll see all the necessary elements, including lab, vitals, access to documents, home medication list, allergies. And as I scroll down to the bottom, you'll see these 3 sections that you typically find when making a history of present illness, a history and physical, that is. You will not have to use these for most of your workflow where you're doing an immediate post-op note. These will come in handy if you're doing a brief admission note and orders for a patient that may have had some problems following a procedure in interventional radiology. So I'll go down to the bottom here as I'm finished up with my workflow. I've got my necessary information. I've seen what's going on with the patient. Now I can click on the note type that I want. So I'll click on immediate post-op note. And this here is your actual note. Whatever you type in here and you click sign submit, that becomes your official note, which will be in the documents tab on Powerchart. These areas can simply be typed, free texted, or you can use Cerner Autotext or Dragon Autotext. First, I'd like to demonstrate Cerner Autotext. Cerner Autotext is all keyboard driven, and you'll use punctuation such as a period, comma, or a / to bring up different templates that are known as public autotext. So just for an example purposes only, I'm going to say .pe for physical exam. And I will pick the complete one here just to demonstrate. So that's one that's already built into Cerner and can be useful if you are doing a brief admit note. delete that. But before I do delete that, notice that common element of Cerner templates is that they include the brackets. The brackets are considered a field that can be used in Dragon for easy scrolling using your speech mic. In fact, I'll give you just briefly here, I'll give you a demonstration of that. I'm using a Cerner. I'm actually using my iPhone as a speech mic, and I'm using the next field. And as I click, it starts highlighting. It'll highlight the next field in front of my cursor. So if I move my cursor up here and hit next field, then it highlights. And this process works very fast on a hardwired mic. To manage Autotext, create them, modify them, you can click on this icon here, Manage Autotext. And you'll see that icon wherever you have a blank field for you to type. And to make an Autotext, all I have to do is click this plus sign, dictate or type whatever I want in here. Remembering that if I want this to be a field, I simply include my brackets. Now I can easily navigate and highlight over that field and dictate over it. A field is usually best used for pertinent negative. And I know as PowerScribe users that you're well versed in using voice dictation, and I suspect that all of you are power users at that. So I can name this dot and put my initials if I want, or whatever naming convention we decide. And I can put a description if I want to, and then I can save it. Now another option is to click on public phrases. If, let's say, there was a phrase already in Cerner that I wanted to copy. For many physicians it might be the review of systems as a starting point. I can bring it up, click it, and then say duplicate to make my own variation of it. And then I can take out whatever I don't want there. So I didn't want those things, or I wanted to, then I can rename it up here and then save it, and then it will be available. Now Dragon gives you the option for voice activated Autotext, but it's a completely separate system from the Cerner Autotext system. That said, it works very much the same way. So I'll say Manage Autotext, this plus bar, and then I simply name it. And let's say the spoken form is how I activate it. I might use the word Dragon in front of it. So when I want to activate it, I would just say Dragon thoracentesis. And now to demonstrate, Dragon thoracentesis. So that will conclude this brief overview of Powerchart. One final word is that when you're done with your note, you say sign and submit. If you save it or save and close, you can find it in your message center. And you can see Dragon's having a little fun with me there. You'll find it in your message center, but it will not be visible to any other users of the system. So you want to say sign and submit when you're ready for this to be saved. This page basically gives you the option to carbon copy it to another physician if you want it to end up in their message center. If I'd have typed fast enough, I would have actually gotten my name. I can even put a comment here if I do that. And that's completely optional. That process is how nurse practitioners can send documents to you as well. So now we'll wrap up this video. In the next video, I'll talk about creating a history and physical, a free text document, and working with orders.